Alrighty, what's up, fellas? Good morning. How are we doing today? Jumping on to PokeMMO as per usual. How are you doing? I'm feeling good today, dude. I will say, I'm gonna warn you guys now, okay? Snooze alarm, boring stream, okay? Today's gonna be boring, just telling you now, so low expectations. I'm literally just going to be hard hunting for Moltres. Now, I might be talking about certain market things here and there. It'll probably be all market talk today and hunting for Moltres. I really just want to get Moltres so I can actually go do that from scratch account, that thing that I've been talking about nonstop. And I can't really do a from scratch challenge without completing what I need to do on my main account and neglecting it. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm really hoping to be able to get Moltres by either today or tomorrow. If I don't get Moltres by either today or tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to do the fresh account from scratch event progress whole thing. For those that don't know, I wanted to do a start a fresh account from scratch and see how much progress I could make and how much money I can make with an event active. I think that'd be super, within like one day. That'd be super cool, but unfortunately, we might not get to it. I'm going to try really hard, man. We're going to go for Moltres. I've done a lot of encounters for it. First things first, though, let's talk about 2012 Pokemon, because that market has been really active recently. At least, well, let me preface. Active in terms of new stuff popping up and things being listed. I think it's actually the most quiet it's ever been in terms of buyers. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So there are more 2012 Pokemon listed on the market right now than I've ever seen. There is 169 total 2012 Pokemon listed. Usually, I'd say there's around 120 to 130. So there's a 30 Pokemon increase, 30 or 40. That's a big increase of Pokemon being listed. As well as you can see, the most recent one is a shiny. There are more 2012 shinies listed on the GTL than I've ever seen. Now, all of this is actually kind of expected, because what happens is with events, when events come out, events will often bring back old PokeMMO players back to the game. News spreads, they hear about something exciting going on in a game they used to play, a game they love, yada yada. They come back, they realize, oh, I have some of these 2012 Pokemon. These are valuable now. What the heck? 2012 shinies are 100 mil. What the heck? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I don't need these. Let me list them off for some starting capital to get back into this game that I love. So that's kind of what happens. Like old players come back to the game, find out they have 2012 shiny or 2012 Pokemon in general. Those are worth value now. They list them all. They sit for a bit. That's really the only way 2012s come back into the market, is by old accounts, old players just coming back to the game for whatever reason. And there's not even that. There's only a limited amount of those that could happen. Like as time goes on, we're gonna run out of those those returning players are gonna stop existing. We're gonna run out of those. That's what I did. Yeah, someone in chat, so we can speak from experience. Like, this guy's name is Big Dumb Simp. We're eventually gonna run out of that. We're eventually gonna run out of players. There were only so many players that played in 2012, and you only had 6 months. The game released in like June or whatever in 2012, so you only had 6 months to play in 2012 anyway. So it's actually half a year versus like the full release year. It's quite I've talked a lot about 2012 Pokemon. I think they're really interesting and special. We'll see what happens with that market. Just wanted to give a quick update, and now we hunt for Moltres. You're totally right, Highlanders. I've heard that you can unlock access to the Abundant Shrine on a new account in Unova. You get it at Nakreen City, right? Which is like, yeah, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. Beating the first gym in Unova is actually hard, in my opinion, because you have to like actually counter the typing and stuff, because they counter your typing. I think, let's say it takes like an hour to get to the Abundant Shrine. If you're a new player and if you have a full day to like play Pokemon, let's say you have a 16-hour or 12 to 16-hour day or whatever to play and go hard, you could make so much progress and so much profit, dude. It's pretty wild. Hey, Patrouski, will Moltres come again? Yes, if I miss out on Moltres, it will come back again in 3 months. However, I'm a huge collector nerd, and I really care about getting every single legendary Pokemon on the first month of their release, and I've done it for the previous 6 legendaries. I did it for Shaymin, I did it for, all the legendary beasts, then I've done it for all the legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno. I just need Moltres, and I only have like 2 or 3 days to do so, unfortunately. I caught my first shiny yesterday. I cannot describe the feeling accurately. I love that. I mean, you're totally correct. Like it's crazy. My first shiny felt better than any other shiny I've gotten. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, even my Shuckle and my Cranidos, I'm pretty sure I wasn't as excited about as my. I was damn excited. If you go watch those reaction clips, I was really excited for the Shuckle and the Cranidos. I didn't record my first shiny, the Stunfisk. You can only imagine my reaction and my excitement for that. It was just pure like joy. It was. I was so happy, dude. I think I'm lucky. I was about to go do a raid. and accidentally went into a single patch of grass, and Moltres was there. It's a skill difference, man. Congratulations to you. You're clearly the better player. Also, does legendary lore... What's legendary lore, and is it useful? Legendary lores have a very powerful effect. Well, aside from the 30% increased legendary effect sounds really good on paper, but it's not actually that good because you have to pop them permanently for it to actually matter. Legendary lores are really not... They're really bad. They're really not worth it. Legendary lores and premium lores are really not worth it financially. It is way better to just spend a bit more time and find the things. And I'm a huge fan of like time over money, but the money cost of legendary lures and premium lures is so ridiculous. So I think you pop around, is it 10 lures per hour? Because I think it might be something like that, because it costs around 1,500. I know it costs around 15k Pokeyen to pop expert lures for an hour. Well, I guess legendary lures and stuff have different step counts. That's why it becomes complicated. But okay, so let's actually go ahead and overview that. Legendary lures. Let's do some math, fellas. You get what? 300 steps? 300 steps. What do expert lures give you? I haven't calculated this in quite a while. Expert lures give you 250. So expert lures cost you 15k Pokeyen to do per hour. If they're 1,500 a piece, I mean, that's divided by... Let's do 10 expert lures times 250 steps. This is the total amount of steps you'll do in an hour on average, 2,500. Now, let's do 2,500 divided by 300, and this is the amount of legendary lures you'll need in about an hour. So around 8. We'll say 8. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say you only need 8 legendary lures per hour. 8 legendary lures per hour times 60k ends up being 480,000 Pokeyen spent per hour. You would have to do so much flipping and so much money making to make up. Like, the cost of legendary lures per hour is staggering. Just to save you the time of not having to hunt the legendary as much. And then also we can do premium lures. Premium lures are even more ridiculous. At least last I checked. I think they've gotten a bit better, I think. Let's see. Let's do premium max lore. It's the easiest way to do it. You get 400 steps. So let's once again do 2,500 steps divided by 400. That's going to give us 6.25. So let's do 6 times 95k, which is how much they cost. And premium lures are going to cost you around 570,000 Pokeyen per hour. So expert lures around 500k per hour, premium lures around 600k per hour to pop. Expert lures are 15k per hour and give you a nice little effect. They're super cheap. The other ones' effects are pretty strong, but are they really worth 500, 600k per hour? In my opinion, absolutely not. And for 99.99999% of players, absolutely. Even if you're like turbo rich, then it's just not financially worth it. Unless you make like 600k per hour or something, like crazy amounts of money really consistently flipping, and you really do want to get the legendary OT stuff. Maybe for like a very, very small percentage of turbo rich players, it's worth it, but I really doubt it, you know? I'm guessing next Team Mr. Shiny Wars will start on July. Yeah, usually we do a June or July Shiny Wars and then like a January Shiny Wars. I mean, yeah, we usually do 2. It's biannual or whatever, 2 a year. I will not be participating in the next Shiny Wars. Number 1, because I'm still going to be exhausted from the previous Shiny. I usually only like do 1 Shiny Wars a year. Number 2, it'll be around my wedding time. So I will be way too busy to be doing something as like Shiny Wars, even though it's a great event. Isn't the forest considered an inside area? Is Moltres even able to be found there? Genuine question. Yeah, of course, it is. I actually found, I believe, Zapdos and Articuno at this location as well. So you can find, it's only caves. A lot of people think that certain like forests are like inside areas. I have found, I think we have confirmation that you can find legendaries here, and then also in the Pattern Bush. Let's say it changed it since then, but we have found previous legendaries in there. Just a matter of RNG and waiting for it. Mainly caves. I think I think that certain forests in other regions might be considered like quote-unquote inside areas, but this is, you can find Moltres here. I wonder if there's a way to check. Like, I wish it said like, I wish there was an interesting better way to check or whatever, I guess. But yeah, this is outdoors. I think it is just caves. Legendary Regis soon. I feel like adding the Regis would be one of the most like easy, like none of them are broke. What is it? Regirock, Registeel, Regice, and then Regigigas. Dude, all of these Pokemon are dog shit. I would just love to have, you know, some of the Regis, some legendaries in NU, man. Sign me up. Dude, legendaries in NU would be super fun. Sign me up, dude. I will say that might make stall even better. Oh shit. I didn't even realize, dude, Ditto's in NU now. Which has the hidden ability access. That's actually really good. Imposter Ditto being moved down to NU. That's pretty interesting, actually. Dude, I want to revisit NU and do some team builds and get something going. I feel like at some point, there's just so much else going on in the game. Thanks for the shiny charm pop, by the way, Aben Bag. I really appreciate it. Hey Pat, since the rates are 1 out of 1k to 1 out of 8k-ish for legendaries, and they wouldn't be more specific about it, do you think that they might have factors that influence the rate on legendaries roaming? Like something besides legendary lures can make it easier to find? Sorry for repeating the same. You're totally fine. Yes, it makes total sense to me that they would be... What I bet is, over the course of balancing the encounter rate, I bet they're keeping it private so that... they can continue to balance it in the background and not have to constantly tell us, hey, this month we change it to 6k. Hey, next month we're going to change it to 7k. Hey, that was actually too rare. We're changing it to 5k for this week. Like, blah, blah. They're probably changing it a lot in the background to find that right amount of encounter. That'd be my guess. They kind of did the same with shiny rate way back in the day. That was a huge scandal where they like kept the shiny rate secret from us, and it was dynamic for a little bit until they found the correct number to actually lock in, which is now 1 out of 30,000. Hey Pat, I'm about to do Gyarados and I'm gonna go catch Shaymin. Do you think it's worth popping a shiny charm for it? Is it financially worth? Absolutely not. But is it for the fun and for the just that chance of getting the first shiny Shaymin? I think it's super worth. I think it's super worth. It's so silly, but I would recommend it, man. And I don't recommend like dumb financial decisions to most players. Or like for most situations, but this is a dumb financial decision that in my opinion is kind of worth it. For that chance. And you can always go, you know, try to catch your Shaymin decently quickly and then go use the rest of your charm hunting something else or doing something elsewhere afterwards. Make sure you have a plan. Now, I will say it'll be your first shiny charm ever. I will say don't pop shiny charm unless you have Donator. It's it's so much better to have Donator popped for that, because then you have like an actual long-term effect, especially if you're playing a decent amount. Donator is way more financially worth than shiny charm. We can actually just run the math. A really easy way to do this is like 7-day Donator status, right? Let's check that out. So 7-day Donator status, let's do lowest price, 1.2. We're going to do 1.25 to make it simple. How much are shiny charms? So shiny charms are 250k a piece. Think about it like this, right? Let's do 1.25 mil. So a Donator status gives you 7 days of 10% shiny increase and some other effects, some other benefits. So if you do gym runs, that helps. It gives you more Pokeyen, more XP, tons of stuff. Let's do this, and let's divide this by 250k, because shiny charms only give you a boost for 1 hour. If you shiny hunt for more than 5 hours, just 5 hours over a whole week, it is so much better to get Donator status than shiny charm. So much better. Now, Donator status and shiny charm are both like Pokeyen synced, and you should only do them if you are willing to spend your Pokeyen just to have a chance at getting more shinies. Not even guaranteed. Keep that in mind. But Donator status is ridiculously more worth it than shiny charms. You should only ever, in my opinion, only ever pop shiny charms, at least from a financial standpoint, only ever pop them on top of Dono. It's not worth ever financially to pop shiny charm without Dono. Now, for some people, they like the mental element of shiny charm. For some people who only have like a couple hours a week to play, maybe like 3 hours or less or whatever, they don't mind like popping a shiny charm, and just that 1 hour of hunting makes them play more efficiently for that 1 hour they have. There's some mental things that come into it, that mental tricks that may work for some people, but generally only pop charm on top of Dono, in my opinion. Dono first, charm second. Hey Pat, do you think Rich's charms will go down after the event? I don't really think so, dude. I think Rich's charms, maybe a little. I don't see them dropping below like 54k, maybe 52k. Maybe people will sell off some of their extras or something. I'm not totally sure, but I think Rich's charms are never gonna get as cheap as they were. So many people have gathered Jimmy Run teams, and it's just become so much more. There's so much more access and game knowledge to it. Like previously, Rich's charms would get to like 34 to like 40k during events, during Lunar New Year events. And this year, they bottomed out at like what, 49k, 48, 50k. No longer, like the days of 35k Rich's charms are gone. People know about them. People understand how powerful Jimmy runs are. People work them into their daily schedule. Yeah, it's gonna be a game changer for sure. It's something to keep in mind. How old were you when you discovered your yapping skills? Dude, I've been yapping since out of the womb, I feel like. I've always been a yapper. 100%, absolutely. What's that joke where it's like, if your kid starts talking to you about a video game, you start like reading to them like off the shampoo bottle, just like explaining to them how like, you know, it's supposed to like teach them like, hey, this is super boring or whatever, like shut the fuck up. I kind of took that as, oh wow, shampoo is really interesting. Holy shit, mom, look at these ingredients. Whoa, this is an active ingredient in shampoo. Whoa, what the fuck? I kind of just like, I've always been a yapper, dude. What can I say? Dude, I've always been a yap backer as well. I talked back and shit all the time growing up. One of these stories that I love to tell, that was the biggest representation of me as a kid. I was such a shitter. Was one time my grandmother was watching me, and I think I said like I was like 6 to 8 years old, and I think I said like shit or damn, like some sort of curse word. And my grandmother was like, she was a huge like, I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap, right? Sort of, you know, older generation. And we went to the bathroom, and I responded with, I don't care, I love soap. And I stuck a bar of soap in my mouth and bit it in half, and then proceeded to projectile vomit into the toilet. And my grandmother was just like, she just like laughed and smiled and was like, you kind of got what you deserved. And she was really sweet afterwards. She comforted me. She was like, that was way worse than like anything I would have done. Dude, I was such a rebellious, even from like 6 years old, dude. I was a little shit for sure. Here, we're talking about amulet coin and Rich's charm difference and like at what cost it becomes worth it and stuff. Let's go ahead and run some math. So when doing gyms with an amulet coin, I believe you get around what, like 13k or 13,500 Pokeyen. I think let's do 13k. I think usually what I do is 13k for an amulet coin, 15k per gym with the Rich's charm 75%, and 17k for a 100% charm. It's not exact, but it's around that number. So let's do 25 gyms times 13k minus the cost of the amulet coin, which is like 19k right now. So you're getting like 306,000 Pokeyen per hour if you use an amulet coin while doing 25 gyms. Let's do 25 times 15k per gym minus the 55k cost of charm. So it's pretty minimal. I mean, kind of. You're making 14,000 Pokeyen more on a 25 gym leader run. You're making 14,000 Pokeyen more if you use a Rich's charm, 75% if bought at 55k. That's the way to think about it, I guess, but it's just important to whatever works for you at the end of the day, but time is money for sure. Hey, are you able to use Pokemon Showdown to help build PvP Pokemon for PokeMMO? Yeah, absolutely, man. Why not? Now I will say you can't go like play the PokeMMO metagame on Showdown. Like, you can't at all. Like, you can't play Gen 5, you can't play like, nothing works. You can't practice PokeMMO PvP outside of PokeMMO, unfortunately. But you absolutely can go, like, get your teams built and plan items, plan EV spreads. That was done a lot back in the day. Especially when there was less custom changes and the game was more Gen 3, there was a huge subsection of the PokeMMO community, myself included, who would like play Gen 3 Pokemon OU in on Showdown, and you would run into other PokeMMO players, and it was really interesting and cool, dude. And it was pretty clear because they would be running like non-hit ability sets or I guess I didn't have that at the time, but certain things would be like very clear. It was like, oh, this is a PokeMMO player based on the team and based on the metagame, which is very interesting. I think there would be like no baton, because Baton Pass was banned in PokeMMO back then. At some point it was unbanned, some point it was banned, thankfully. But Baton Pass is fucking turbo broken on Pokemon Showdown Gen 3 OU. It's so annoying. But yeah, we've used, the Pokemon community has used Showdown in the past for team builds and stuff, absolutely. Do y'all think it's the year for Shiny Shaymin? I really thought that Shiny Shaymin would happen this year, and I guess I kind of still do think it will, but we're running out of time, dude. We are running out of time. Absolutely. There's only like 2 days left. We're running out of time fast. It's pretty crazy, actually. How much time would it take to get a shiny Melodic? Melodic is actually a really, really tough one to predict time on, because because of the way you go for Feebas. You have to hunt Feebas on the Feebas tile, which is constantly rotating around. Now, for those who don't know, go to channel 5. If you want to hunt Feebas or shiny Feebas or Melodic, the best way is to single encounter fish it on channel 5. There is a small dedicated Feebas hunting community that tries to go around and find the tile. You can't always find them online, but at certain times you'll find a group of players shouting out and communicating and trying to have that Feebas tile called out and communicated. So you do get, so when fishing, you get what, 220, I think, encounters per hour, something with lure fishing, something like that. But you probably cut that in like half when going for Feebas. It's gonna be really hard. Now, Feebas is a 50%. When you find the tile, it's 50% chance for Feebas, 50% for Carvana, I believe, which is really good. It's 50% is a crazy thing. You have to find the tile. So let's say you get like half of the encounters per hour because finding the tile is so difficult, right? What you would do is you would do 30,000 encounters by 110, so it's half, right? So that's 272 hours, and then you would multiply that by 1.5 because there's a 50% chance, if that makes sense, that you don't get it. So on average, a Feebas shunt / melodic shunt is going to take you around 410 hours. On average, hard guesstimated. Once again, very hard thing to calculate, but that's the number I would come to. So you could even just like free ball it and say it's like a 500 hour hunt on average, kind of 400, 500, something like that. Maybe like 300 to 500 hours for Feebas on average. Give it like a range. Feebas would be tough. Wouldn't the best way to get Feebas be egging? No, absolutely. So we can just do the math, right? So fishing for Feebas takes around 300 to 500 hours. If you want to egg for Feebas, then now that's 2,000 to 4,000 plus 120 million Pokeyen. That's the average. The average egg hunt is 2,000 to 4,000 hours and 120 to 150 million Pokeyen. So would it be better to egg Feebas when you're doing that versus 15k per hour spent and 400 to 500 hours? It's not even remote. It's not even close. Egging Feebas would be 4 times as time consuming and like 100,000 times more expensive. Fishing is way better for sure. It's an interesting question. Would you prefer to have the Flaming Skull vanity or the worst legendary shiny in your opinion? Probably the worst legendary shiny. What would that consist of? Maybe Moltres? What's the worst legendary shiny that's even in the game? That'd be up for debate. Zapdos is useful in PvP. Articuno maybe? Doesn't really look... Yeah, probably Articuno is probably the worst out of all the... I'd probably say Articuno. Zapdos is at least useful in PvP, so even though it doesn't look great, it has some benefits. I'd say Articuno. Articuno looks like shit, is bad, bad. Articuno, bad, true. I would easily take the shiny Articuno, I think, over... I care about, once again, OT shinies and shiny Pokemon way more than Pokeyen or Vanities, personally. Just a value statement. How many people remember... Talking about Ragnarok Online, how many people remember that there was a Pokemon Ragnarok MMO called Pokerag? And it was like only in Portuguese, so I actually couldn't... I tried to play it, but I got stuck because I couldn't read the language the game was in. This game looked so fun and looked so cool, dude. I'm pretty sure it's super dead now. I'll see if I can find photos. I'm pretty sure the website is like down. But Pokerag always looked... Like back in 2013 or whatever, this game looked so freaking cool to me, man. Yeah, here's Pokerag. And like obviously by today's standards it looked bad, but it was in like the Ragnarok art style and I really thought this was pretty cool and neat. Dude, I back in 2013, like I really wanted to play this. This was so freaking cool. And I was never able to, unfortunately. I always desperately wanted to get into it. Pokerag seemed super neat and just all those I truly tried to play like every Pokemon MMO that I could get my hands on. I truly tried to experience and play. And Pokerag was one of the few, unfortunately, that I couldn't due to the language barrier. Man, I should just learned Portuguese. What was 13, 14-year-old Patrouski doing? What a lazy little kid. Fuck, dude, someone else has their Mankey out and we get to see the beautiful... Is that Aben? Smart man. Hey, I just finished Shaymin and Swarms. What's the best money making method now? Either farming Abundant Shrine or just flipping and like playing the market of the event, honestly, if you have the capital. Whatever works best. And like sniping during the event seems really profitable from what I've seen. There's a lot of casual players throughout the event underlisting stuff that you can take advantage of for sure. Okay, let's talk about this. I have no specific Pokemon to request, but I'd love to learn how to price check levels. Let's use Magikarp for an example. How do I price check level 1 versus level 50 versus level 100, assuming identical IVs and natures? It really depends. You would kind of just throw that on or just add on a couple extra Pokeyen. One of the easiest ways to do it, honestly, is let's just do a default. Let's do a Gyarados. It's better than a Magikarp. Cheapest Gyarados, level 1, nothing. Level 50, probably nothing. 77, honestly, more than I expected. 7,600 for the cheapest level 50 Gyarados. Let's do level 100. Usually level 100 Pokemon are around 50k. Yeah, a little more. Let's just do like Pokemon in general. Yeah, hundreds are like around 50k. This is actually a really good level 100. 1 minute ago, I'll actually buy that and flip that. Usually around 50k or so for a level 100. This is also not bad. Adamant Krook, level 100. it have Moxie? Intimidate. Okay, that's the zinger. Fair. Yeah, level 100s. You can just add on some extra Pokeyen. Okay, shut up, no venture. You can either A, add on some extra Pokeyen in relation. So if I were price checking like a level 100 versus a level 1 with like, I would add on like maybe 30 to 40k, not the full price, but 30 to 40k. And then you would go ahead and do, let's get rid of this. You really just add on some extra Pokeyen, or a lot of times it won't even matter. I mean, that's the reality, is a lot of times the level won't matter, but it depends on the Pokemon. Some of them that the price matters a shit ton on based on level. Things like Breloom, dude. Breloom is one of the slowest Pokemon to level in the entire game. So a level 100 Breloom is going to be worth significantly more than a, low level 1. Where a level 1 Breloom is, or level 100, sorry, is worth 200k. Because this Pokemon requires 1.6 million XP to get level 100 versus the normal Pokemon, which takes around 800k for Smeargle's a faster one, versus like 1 million XP for Quagsire. So leveling one Breloom to level 100 is equivalent to leveling 2 Smeargles to level 100. Like that's a massive difference, right? Crazy difference. Breloom is an extremely slow Pokemon to level. Keeping that in mind. Also, level 100s are more desired right now due to the event and due to PVM Pokemon. You could keep that in mind. Generally, I don't really change the price too much based on the level of a Pokemon, but it really just depends. You kind of just tack on some extra Pokeyen. I know I'm not explaining. There's just no like. I'm not explaining this very directly because there isn't really a direct way to influence price checks based on it. Like, you really just kind of have to. It's just game knowledge, experience, and comfortability, and you kind of just adjust. In general, I would maybe just throw on an extra. You can just price check it by doing level 100s. Typhlosion is another one where it's like a level 100 Typhlosion is worth a lot more than a. Let's do modest. A level 100 Typhlosion is worth a lot more than like a lower level one, because you can buy a level 100 Typhlosion and immediately jump into gym runs and start using that to make money, versus having to spend the time leveling. So it's 270k for the cheapest. Here, what if we were to level cap? 190k. It's a big difference. Like level 36 Typhlosion 190k versus level 100 being 270k. Huge difference. So it really does just depend on the Pokemon and on the species. If you're selling something, it all depends on how you're selling something. If you're selling something as a breeder, it being level 100 doesn't really matter. But if you're selling something as a gym rerun Pokemon or as a PVM Pokemon, it being level 100 does matter. That's another really important thing to keep in mind, is just asking yourself, always understanding and always asking yourself, why is the buyer buying this thing from me, is just an important thing to do in any business, especially in PokeMMO, especially in video games, whatever it may be that works. I've had this question a lot of people saying, what's PVM? I don't know if it's from just people who don't play MMOs, or maybe you're more familiar with PvE. PVM is just player versus monster. PvE is, from my understanding, player versus environment. Different games use different terms. It's really the same thing, pretty much. PvE can technically mean different things, where like PVM is always versus a monster, where PvE could technically be something like, oh, if a ground thing damages you. I think it gets a little actually nerds though. It's mostly just, PvE, PVM, same thing. Yeah, RuneScape, it's from RuneScape. RuneScape players, for whatever reason, which I am, seem to use a lot of different terminology from other games. It's similar to like RMT versus RWT. RMT is what PokeMMO uses, which means real money trade, but RWT is what RuneScape uses, which is real world trade. They're the same exact thing, which are both against the rules, which is just paying real world money to another player for like an in-game thing. You can't do that, but it's just different terminology, different, what's it called, acronyms. There's a guy selling 75 raffle tickets for 25k each for a shiny Tentacool. He's saying it's backed by a mod. What do you think about that? Yeah, they do that on the forums sometimes. I think it's one of the coolest things and under talked about things in PokeMMO. Shiny raffles are fun. I mean, it's gambling at the end of the day, but you could technically pay 25k Pokeyen or, a smaller amount and win a shiny. It's actually kind of a win-win. So raffles are really cool. They're more effort, right? They're more effort and it's gambling, but you could technically get a shiny for like a way lower than it's actually worth, like 25k or whatever, and the seller gets a guaranteed amount of Pokeyen. So if he's selling 75 raffle tickets for 25k a piece, That's 1.875 mil. That's probably more Pokeyen than he would get if he were to just sell it on the GTL, where you get like 1.2. Depends on the IVs and stuff of the Tentacool or whatever. But usually you can get like more Pokeyen as the seller, and it's fun for the buyers because they can get it at a cheaper price. Raffles are very interesting, and those are allowed on the forums if you get a moderator ahead of time to like back you and rep you, and it's like a middleman sort of trade. Raffles are super fun in PokeMMO and super underrated for sure. I would love to do a whole video honestly dedicated to talking about them and just highlighting ones that are active at that time. There's not that many that happen. Yeah, I've had a lot of people actually ask me this question recently about repeat balls. At what amount of Pokemons caught in a row does it reach max catch rate? So I believe you get a 0.1 times catch rate increase. Let's bring up repeat ball. So if you were to catch, for example, it starts at 1.0 catch rate. So if you were to catch 15 Dittos in a row, for example, that 16th Ditto in a row is going to get you're going to have the 2.5 times catch rate against it. But if you catch a Whismur or catch any other Pokemon in between, it resets. Repeat ball, unfortunately, is really not good right now. It's probably one of the worst Pokeballs in the entire game, which I'm sitting on a bunch of after the nerf. Like, I almost have 600 of them, and they're just not good at all. Right now, things like Dream Ball, Timer Ball, Dust Ball, there's a lot of balls that are better than Repeat Ball. It's even in very niche situations, I just think that there's no real spot that I know of or have heard of where it's worth to use Repeat Balls. Even at Ditto, it's just worth to use Dreams and like do a different strategy or do like Net Balls. Net Balls are so good. Net Balls will probably get nerfed. Net Balls are so good they'll probably get nerfed in my opinion. Like that strategy with Fortress at Ditto with Net Balls is so good. Repeat Balls are probably, one of the worst balls right now in PokeMMO. Repeat Ball should at least get a higher max. It's interesting to think about, like, how should we rebalance it? I think giving Repeat Ball like maybe keep the same mechanic and give it like a max catch rate of like 4 times. I think that's probably fair, and that would give it a niche situation at like Dittos. That would make it better than Netball, which is currently, I think Netball should get nerfed. I think Netball should get nerfed to 3 times catch rate versus 3.5 is just so insane with Soak existing. And it just creates for insane consistency. Repeat Ball probably could get buffed to like 4 times, and that, or maybe even 3.5, and bring Netball down to 3. At 4 times, it would be a more consistent Dream Ball, which is nice. And there's a huge, you'd have to catch, what, 25 Dittos in a row to even give that benefit. Pat, can you please beg the devs to buff Knockoff? I would love a Knockoff buff. Now, not as good as it was, because Knockoff got buffed in traditional Pokemon, and it became way too fucking good, in my opinion. Didn't it get buffed to, like, what was the initial buff? I always forget. But it was way too good, and they, like, nerfed a little, and then it was, like, fine. I would love to see a Knockoff buff, for sure. But it's way too bad right now. But you also you don't want to make it too good, but you don't want to make it, right now, it's, like, unusable for the most part. The biggest things I would love to see added at this point in PokeMMO, well, now that raids are coming, that's the number, like the number one thing is raids is the best thing for the game. The other things would be, I would love to see heavy duty boots. I think heavy duty boots are the definition of a balanced item. I love heavy duty boots. Would love to see heavy duty boots, and then RU/PU. The number one thing I would personally love to see in PokeMMO is more tiers. I think it balances things out. I'm a huge lower tier fan, and it's really tough being an NU fan. I always say, like, it's tough being an NU fan when things like, what's a good example of this? When things like Druddigon and Shuckle are in the same tier. Like, Shuckle just can't compete. Like, it's just not even remotely close. When things like Sceptile is in the same tier as, like, another, like, shitty grass type, like Simisage, like, there's just no competing, you know? There's too many pretty powerful Pokemon in NU, and it makes it so other Pokemon don't have a chance to shine. And I love tiering based systems in Pokemon because it really does allow you to make weaker Pokemon shine. It allows like any Pokemon to at least be and like with correct tiering, I'd say like 90% of Pokemon are at least playable, you know, in all tiers, which is really, really cool. They may not be meta, obviously, but they'll be at least playable. I've had a lot of success playing like weird low usage Pokemon in like Gen 9, PU, and RU and stuff. It's super fun. It sucks that like there's some really cool Pokemon that have some really cool niches. Like Excelgor it's played a little bit in NU, to be fair. Not anymore. Like Excelgor's a really cool Pokemon that can have a niche in a metagame that just is never played. It sucks. I feel like you miss out on a lot of really interesting cool Pokemon when NU is just power creeped as much as it is, and there's no other lower tiers for it. Think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. How many Pokemon are in OU? What is this? 11, 22, 33, 44, like 45? I think it's 11 per row. It's somewhere around there. Let's say 45 Pokemon are in OU. UU, 11, 22, 33, 44, 50 or 60. How many Pokemon are in NU, right? Because NU is not only this, but it's also untiered. So there's like, you know, 50 Pokemon in OU, 50 Pokemon in UU, and then 500 Pokemon are all stuffed into NU. 500 Pokemon! Of course that can't be balanced. Like, they're just, yeah, like that's the issue is like, there just has to be other tiers. There has to be a bigger spread. Because things like Alakazam never get used, or Kadabra, sorry. Like, why is Kadabra in the same tier as Alakazam? That's so silly. Dodrio has been a really cool, like, lower tier threat in the past. Kangaskhan, a really big lower tier threat in the past. Rhydon, can't get any value. Aerodactyl, like, man. Ampharos, there's some Blossom, there's some really cool lower tier threats that can't be that lower tier threat in PokeMMO because there's way too many Pokemon stuffed into one tier. With RU and PU added to the game, for those who don't know, the way it would go is from top to bottom, it would go OU, UU, RU, NU, and then PU. That's RU goes above NU, and then PU goes below NU, from my understanding. And then that adds a lot more, you know, just areas for different Pokemon to shine. I think it's really cool that one of the coolest things about Pokemon is the ability to use your favorite Pokemon in a decently competitively manner. Even if it's like a 5v6 to some degree, it's not like a total throw, you know? I think that's cool. Have you ever heard of someone breeding a regular competitive Pokemon and it hatching shiny? Yes, it's one of the coolest things to see in my opinion. One of the craziest examples of this is when someone was breeding a Rapid Spin Tentacool for competitive play, and that came out shiny. And if you're familiar with this story, that shiny Tentacool, just a normal shiny Tentacool, but it had Rapid Spin, which is an egg move, was worth 106 million Pokeyen, and he ended up selling it for 106 million Pokeyen. The reason why shiny Tentacool with Rapid Spin is worth so much money is because if you want to actually get a shiny Tentacool with Rapid Spin, you have to chain egg move breed it. And the way you do it, yeah, here it is. The way you do it is you have to breed a Tentacool first. I believe it's either first with a Squirtle or a Kabuto. So you have to breed it with one of those first and then the other one after. So you have to consume a shiny Squirtle and a shiny Kabuto just to get a rapid spin on a Tentacool. It's wild. So if you just randomly hatch one, it's so crazy. It's so good. It's so crazy. Do you think it's the only one that exists with Rapid Spin? I don't think it's the only one, but I'm sure there's like 5 or less, 10 or less. Very few for sure. Wait, this is a huge fucking donation, dude. I don't know if how much is this? Jeez, man. 500 envelopes at 5k a piece. That alone is 2.5 mil. 50 cherish balls at like 60k a piece. This is like 6 mil of stuff, dude. I don't know. I appreciate it. I don't like to take big donations like that. Gamble or investments? I'm a huge investment guy. So what I'll do is, everybody in chat spamming gamble because you guys are little addicts. What I'll do both. I will keep the red envelopes as an investment. I will hold on to those and not open. And I will open the mysterious cherish balls for the stream or the content. Investment is boring. Yes, I know. I will open the cherish balls for the content for you guys, okay? For that shiny chance. And that'll give me a chance to pop a shiny charm, open the mysterious balls, and pop legendary lore. That'll kind of work out. So, because... clearly not because I want to fulfill my own selfish desire of gambling, only because I want to satisfy chat, true and real. I'll go ahead and go pick those up in a second, Gamble. Thank you for that huge donation, dude. Oh, while I'm at the GTL, let me flip this this Lucario pretty quick. What did I buy this for? 50k? It's a 31 attack Lucario, level 100. I'm not gonna flip it for too much, but I bought it for 50k. If I just sort by level 100 Lucario, cheapest is 88k and mine has 31 attack, so I probably should be able to list this for 80k or so and sell it pretty easily. It's like a 25k flip, but it should be pretty fast, so I'm cool with that. Dude, I sent him a message to say thank you, and he just sends 50 more. I mean, those are going to be added to the opening. I'm not going to... You're crazy, dude. I appreciate it. I'm 35,000 encounters dry. Hopefully we get a shiny. We'll see, dude. I'll open all 107. I had 7 of my own. Oh my god, how much does this cost? Let's run the math. 107 times, what are they? Let's say 60k a piece. God, I can't do math. It's 6.4 mil. Ugh. Wait, Mr. Shiny Servine? What? Wait, that would be Mr. Not Washed question mark? Wait, Shiny, is that single encounter lore? That would be a ridiculous fucking shiny. That would be so insane. What do you think the next mysterious ball will be? We could see like mysterious luxury ball. That's would honestly be kind of based. I'm once again, I'm not a fan of mysterious balls. I think they're bad for the game. It's the only way you can like now pay to win to a shiny, unfortunately, and skip out thousands of hours of hunting. It's a secret shiny. Wow. You know, but they're fun. They are fun. I will say that for sure. I hope they don't launch the delayed anniversary event anytime soon. I'm gonna need some time to recharge. Yeah, I think they'll give us at least until June, dude. I think they're gonna wait a bit, personally. The cake particle is obnoxious. It absolutely is, and I like it. I like the, you're totally right. The like giant cake, the anniversary, drop it on the Pokemon. I think it's dumb. I like it. Hey Pat, I've been shiny hunting a horde while killing the horde with Zapdos while passively leveling up a Meowth level 100 to sell on the GTL. Is it worth to just skip the killing or should I continue? Usually it is inefficient to do that, but if it brings you joy and makes you feel like more satisfied with your hunt, I think it's totally fine to do. Usually it's more efficient to like just go get the leveling done or whatever, like just go like XP train at a high XP yield spot and get it done with as soon as possible, and then go ×5 horde hunt like the actual shiny you want to without killing a horde drastically slows down the amount of hordes you can do in an hour. You wouldn't think of it that much, but like it takes you from like, if you do 1,000 hordes an hour without killing, you only do like 400 to 600. Once it's like half or less. It's a drastic amount of less Pokemon you encounter. So you got to keep that. It's gonna like at least have your time to hunt or whatever, or double or whatever. I would recommend if you want to, you know, level Meowths for profit, I would either do that on its own, or I would do it while doing your gym rerun in like a extra slot. I wouldn't recommend shiny hunting plus leveling. I think it slows things down way too much. But once again, if it brings you joy, you know, you can also like XP train at spots that you do kind of want to shiny, like Mantine or Piloswine, or good XP spots like that, like Donphan and Dodrio. Dude, here's the Servine secret shiny. What? The stats are insane too. Naive, 31 speed, 20 plus special attack. That's actually so good. Secret shiny, single encounter, wild, 5% chance of encounter. That is just Jimmybunkle, my man. Wildly, insanely rare, unbelievable, crazy shiny. That's so nuts. I've been thinking about this a fair bit, DJ Rect. He says, what's your opinion on raids? Although these are a little bit easier of a version, you know, intended by the devs, and they'll get harder. I don't have a single critique to make about raids. Like, they're just good. They're just good. They're easy enough where you can beat them solo queue, and Cav has proved that. All of his raid guides have been done through solo queue. You can dumpster them with a 4-man team cooperatively. You can have some tough times. You can fail. You can, you know, come back and get your redemption. The difficulty seems really good, especially for the short amount of time. They've bumped up desirability for PVM Pokemon. They've increased player retention. They've brought up excitement. Raids just seem good. I don't have a single bad thing to say about the implementation of current raids. Yeah, that's. I have nothing. I don't think I have a single critique for raids. I really, really, really like them. And I'm excited to see them be a little more difficult in the future and require... The tough thing is, I hope that raids get more difficult once we have unlimited time to level our Pokemon and stuff. But I also hope that there are multiple ways to beat them. Something that I really don't like, this is a huge problem with the PokeMMO Halloween boss, is like there's pretty much only one strategy that's like really good for the Halloween boss. Like there's only one strategy you can use, or one or two that you can. I really like that. Like with raids, they're easy enough yet hard enough where you can yeah, like Pumpkin hard mode, like you have to use the one strategy or else you just lose. Like I really hope that future raids are difficult and challenging, but have lots of solutions that are doable by many players. That's what I'm really hoping for. That's a tough thing to do, man. That's a really tough way to balance it. Are they using the temporary raids to just test technical stuff for the permanent raid? Yep, you nailed it. It's exactly trivia. That's Exactly what they're doing. Testing difficulty, testing mechanical stuff, seeing if it functions, ironing out bugs, which, like, there were a lot of bugs throughout the event, which, I mean, that's, you know, it's good to catch them now versus when they're permanently added. Shiny Dratini. Wait, is that Team Mister? Did we just get... Hello? The 2 times? Dude, wait. Team Mister is not washed? Actually popping off? Dratini is so good, dude. Congrats, Kira. What the hell? Now someone in my Shiny Charm just has to get one. Who's next? Joshua? XRD? Woomy? Someone's got to get one, okay? Let's keep going. This is a great question to help predict how long permanent raids will take to be added. How much time passed from the anniversary event and the actual alpha release system? Was there something non-definitive in between? I think it was around 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Someone could correct me. Because I think, when did the initial anniversary event actually end up coming out? Was it like August? And like they came out in like... Alphas ended up getting permanently released towards like November, maybe September? It was around 3 months or so. It was decently fast, I would argue, for PokeMMO. How long should I wait for my average flip to sell before lowering the price of it? And then how about shiny flips? I would measure it in how many times the listing wears out. You should never, I shouldn't say always, never, ever, but like almost never, ever, ever cancel a listing. There is no reason to do it. Just wait. Just be patient. Never cancel a listing. Almost never. Just be patient. Just wait. Sit on it. It's better to just, yeah. So I would say for a shiny flip, if it goes through two or three full listings and it cancels or whatever, I'd probably lower the price. And then for a normal flip, I usually just lower the price after 1 or 2 full listing cycles, but then it depends on the market. Like I say, like right now is like one of the hardest time to be shiny flipping because not many people are buying shiny Pokemon to breed right now because they're making investments. They're spending all their Pokeyen to make more Pokeyen as opposed to just luxuriously spending on a shiny breed, for example. You have to understand the markets and understand when to sell what things. Like right now, shiny flips are bad in my opinion, and 2012 flips are bad. They're really slow right now. I don't recommend touching those right now. What I would do is PVM Pokemon, mediocre comps, level 100s. All of this stuff is really good because people need stuff for the raids and new players want that stuff. So that's a good... Understand the market at what time, right? Jolly 31 speed, the shiny Dratini from Kira, dude. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Jolly 30... Dude, look at like the IVs you both got. Like, obviously, like a lot of these IVs suck, unfortunately. But 31 speed Jolly is just such a good starting point. That's like, it's still worth it. Congrats, dude. That's so sick. What's your opinion on Super EV boosting vitamins? Worth selling right now or keep? It's probably like worth more than ever to sell vitamins because I'm sure people are willing to like take the shortcut right now to be able to get to raids faster. XP candies, how are like rare candies, for example? Dude, rare candies are up. Like right now is the time to go sell your rare candies, your XP candies. Why can't I type? Hello? Oh my goodness, 4K piece. Vitamins, calcium, you know, whatever. Yeah, right now is probably the best time to sell all that stuff because people are probably willing to pay the price to save time to get to raids faster. Absolutely. Dude, once raids get added, pretty much every single XP item will probably drastically go up in value. How much are XP charms right now? I might actually pick some of these up now. How much are 100s? 55k? Really? Damn. I'll pick up some 50s. It wouldn't surprise me if these get really expensive in some time. It would not surprise me. Because like once permanent raids are added, everyone's gonna need to all of a sudden level stuff up to like level 100 for the raids, for like the big raids, you know. I'll wait. These might drop a bit. I feel like these seem bought out. I'll sit on those. But yeah, I feel like what about damn mouth? I feel like XP charms, XP candies, rare candies, all that stuff will go up a lot once permanent raids are out, and once the supply is lower for XP, like XP charms are being pulled right now from this event, as well as like XP candies and stuff. I feel like that could be one of the biggest, like short term, like 3 to 6 months investments right now. One of the best ones might be XP. It's all XP items essentially. All right, there is the shiny charm over with, fellas. Thank you to everyone who joined. Unfortunately, no Moltres, no shiny. Cherish balls popped. Legendary lures popped. Still nothing. What are you gonna do? You just keep hunting. Alrighty though, fellas, I was gonna say tons of progress today, but all we did was run back and forth in grass for 4 hours. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Hopefully it was still entertaining, although all we did was run back and forth in grass. Like the video if it was entertaining, if it was enjoyable, if it was fun, if it taught you something. Dislike if not, that's totally okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow the Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's linked down below for help with the event and just tons of information and up-to-date information on my content. And then if you want to go above and beyond, if my content has helped you out enough to warrant it, or just entertained you enough in the background while you grind, YouTube memberships, Twitch primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations go an extremely long way and allow me to stay here making content. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I will see you all later. Peace, Reno. Thank you so much for watching until the very end of the video, and I hope it was a positive asset to your day. The same way everybody listed here is a positive asset to my day, going above and beyond and allowing me to make content every single day. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good one.